Over the next few years, we're going to see a significant shift in the spiritual and self-development world as the spiritual revolution comes about. People have become angry, jaded, confused, frustrated by doing the work and not getting the results. And I get it. I get it. It took me 15 years to work out what the real answer was. And, I spent a lot of time doing Joe Dispenza's work. I used to work for Joe, and I really love his information. However, there's some things that are kind of missing from his framework. And, in the grand scheme of things, you can sit and meditate and focus on what it is that you want, but it's really spiritual bypassing. And so over the next few years, we're going to see a massive shift towards people actually wanting to do the deep transformational work that gets to the root of the challenge, that actually goes into the shit that they've been trying to avoid for years and trying not to be. And instead looking at those parts of themselves and understanding that if you love those dark parts of you, the parts that you so want to hide and get rid of, that they actually end up transforming permanently. The work that I've been doing for the last 5 years actually allows people to do that. And why is that? Well, I don't have a view of rewiring someone over the top of the old neurology, right? So you might think that you're not good enough. You might think that you can't do something. You'll have all of these limiting beliefs, and you'll try and rewire the opposite. You'll try and, tell yourself that you're worthy. You'll try and tell yourself that you can. But if there's any part of you that thinks that the bullshit is true, and I'm guessing that you do because that's why you're here, then the pattern is just going to keep repeating. So the work that I do, if you look at it like an optical illusion, okay, you've probably seen the optical illusion before, where there's an old lady and a young lady, and maybe for a while you could only see one of them. You could only see the young lady. And then when someone pointed out to you the old lady, all of a sudden you can't unsee it, right? You can see both of them. And anytime you look at that image now, you can see both because your perception around that image has shifted. And this is the work that's really important, okay? Because when you're working on beliefs, you're working on the outcome. A belief is an outcome of the perception. But just like in the optical illusion, when we can change your perception, then it's permanent because you can't unsee what you've just seen. This is the radical difference between doing, mindset work and affirmations and sitting there trying to, tell yourself that you're worthy to actually seeing it and believing it and not being able to see it any other way. So this is the work that I do. And, because we're willing to go into, the things that we're shameful of or feel guilty about and actually shift our perception on those things, that actually change, right? And the people around us actually change. And this is what we're moving towards. We're going through massive shifts in this world as it is, on every level. And so moving forward, the spiritual revolution is really going to come through, and it's going to be about this work. It's going to be about doing this deeper work that has permanent change, which then flows out into the collective. You cannot change the way you see yourself and how you see others and not have an impact in the world. And this is actually what's going to help bring in this new level of consciousness to this new earth. For those who don't know what spiritual bypassing is, it's, kind of pretending that you're doing the thing and throwing a spiritual label on it. I'm just going to meditate on that. I'm just going to think positive and daring not to go into those parts of you that you hide. And when we can, in fact, turn and look at those dark parts, we, A, are no longer scared of them and no one can hurt us. If someone was to say to you, "Oh my God, you are such a bitch," and you've owned that part of you, you won't be hurt by that. You'll be like, "Yes, sometimes I can be. Yeah, sometimes I can be." And if you're on the other end of this video thinking, "Well, that's not very spiritual," there's nothing that's not spiritual. You're a spiritual being having a human experience, and that means all of it. And so you have the ability to be a bitch sometimes, to be mean, to be kind, to be loving, to be angry, to be joyful. That's what it is to be human. But we've denied these parts of ourselves for so long that, we don't even know who we are anymore. And so it's about coming back to ourselves, who we truly are, our authentic selves. And the way we do that is by loving the shit that we previously did not like. I'm Jill Ogle. I've been on hiatus for a little while. I've had some health challenges, but I am back and I'll be making more content more regularly. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share or comment or like this post, subscribe for more. And I have a Facebook group and I'll pop the link below if you'd love to come over and be in community with me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.